What is going on, guys? It is impossible to predict the future in the NFL. Everybody was sure that Dan Marino had multiple Super Bowl titles ahead of him. We all thought that Brett Favre would win more than one Super Bowl as well. And wasn't Super Bowl 45 supposed to mark the start of a dynasty for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers? But these 10 teams face the brightest long-term futures, with championship windows that are open for the long run. Number 10, Houston Texans. We wanted to put the AFC South Kings higher on this list. After all, the Texans have one of the game's most dynamic young quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson, and a game-changing pass rusher in J.J. Watt. But other than that, not a whole lot else. Bill O'Brien shouldn't have the GM role to begin with. He's also made some brutal in-game decisions in the playoffs as a team's head coach. We can't forget the fake punt debacle in the 2019 divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs. Houston has had some issues along their offensive line in recent years, and the secondary is in need of a major overhaul. It'll be tough for this current Texans roster to compete with the likes of KC and Baltimore, but a few key acquisitions could change that quickly and open their championship window even wider. With all that being said though, simply having Watson is enough for Houston to reach the top 10 on our list. Number 9, the Tennessee Titans. Were the 2019 Titans a bit of a fluke? Only time will tell. I mean, Ryan Tannehill isn't going to perform like an MVP over a 10-game stretch again, but he doesn't have to. Tannehill regressed a bit in the postseason, and yet his team was still 3/4 away from a Super Bowl appearance. Tennessee dethroned the defending champion New England Patriots in the wildcard round. Before that game, Tom Brady only had 3 home playoff losses on his resume. Then, in the following weekend, the Titans manhandled MVP Lamar Jackson and the top-seeded Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round. Clearly, Mike Vrabel is an exception to the notion that Bill Belichick proteges can't succeed once they leave Foxborough. We're not sure how good Tannehill can be over the long run, but let's not forget that Vrabel won 9 games with Marcus Mariota and Blaine Gabbert as his quarterbacks in 2018. The man just knows how to coach a winner. It's that simple. Worried about Tannehill and Derrick Henry over the long run? Don't bother. The Titans will always have a strong rushing game behind that wonderfully constructed O-line, courtesy of underrated GM John Robinson. And the defense is anchored by star safety Kevin Byard and youthful talents such as Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons. If the Titans can reach the AFC Championship game in year 2 of Vrabel and year 1 of Tannehill, then just wait and see what they can do over the long run. The Music City is in great shape to host a Super Bowl parade somewhere in the next 5 or so years. Number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers have a long-term question mark at quarterback. Chances are Ben Roethlisberger has a maximum of 3 years left, even if that. Coming back from a season-ending elbow injury in your age 37 season is easier said than done. But with or without Roethlisberger, we love Pittsburgh's chance to compete for more Lombardi trophies over the long run. Just look at how this team scraped out an 8-8 finish in 2019 without their Pro Bowl quarterback for all but 2 games. The defense is a top 5 unit in the NFL. That Minka Fitzpatrick trade was well worth it. He didn't only upgrade Pittsburgh's secondary, but he made it grade A, top-tier, world-class. You name it. TJ Watt is one of the NFL's premier young pass rushers, and he's only going to get better over time. We also see why the Steelers traded up to land athletic linebacker Devin Bush, who emerged as a force in his rookie year. I can't wait to see what more he can do. The Steelers also have one of football's best offensive lines. Whether it's Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, or Jalen Samuels running the ball, most backs will produce in that offense. Juju Smith-Schuster can be a number 1 receiver, and James Washington took big leaps in year 2. He has the ability to be a 1,000-yard pass catcher. And Mike Tomlin is simply one of the best coaches in football. Don't let Bell or Antonio Brown tell you otherwise. Like we said, 8-8 without Roethlisberger is pretty darn impressive. The Steelers might have the best 25 and under core in the NFL. There is no weakness on defense, and everything on offense is set up nicely except for the long-term quarterback solution. But this is the model organization that has a knack for finding hidden gems anywhere. We will never question their ability to find the right successor to Big Ben. And by the way, we still think Roethlisberger has enough left in him to get Pittsburgh to 1 or maybe even 2 more Super Bowls. Do not sleep on these Steelers. Number 7, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is just a rich man's game manager at this stage of his career. The MVP days of throwing 40-plus touchdowns while shattering the record books are over. That doesn't mean the Packers are done for. Peyton Manning was the weak link of the Denver Broncos Super Bowl 50 championship team. Tom Brady was basically a game manager during New England's 6th Super Bowl championship journey. The good news for the Packers is that Rodgers is still highly above average, and he can still make the plays when his team needs it the most. Green Bay has a pair of dynamic offensive playmakers in Pro Bowl wideout Davante Adams and workhorse running back Aaron Jones. Jones surpassed the 1,000-yard mark in 2019. Green Bay's defense is full of talent all over. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Adrian Amos, and Jair Alexander are all in their primes. And last time we checked, defense wins championships. Green Bay has enough playmakers on both sides of the ball. Their front office finds more gems than most other teams through the draft. And they play in a weak division that is home to, well, 3 annual underachievers. Their window isn't open for, say, the next 7 to 10 years. But the Packers are are built to win over the next half decade. There's plenty of time for this historic franchise to help Rodgers win ring number 2, and possibly number 3 as well. Number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is an above-average quarterback, no doubt, but he's not elite, and he hasn't proven his ability to win big games. 1 win in 4 games isn't exactly jaw-dropping. Yes, Ezekiel Elliott is one of the game's few elite game-changing running backs, but guys at that position don't last long in the NFL. How many Pro Bowl years does Zeke really have left in him? Well, that's for another day. The Cowboys' superb offensive line can make any running back good. Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup are among the most dynamic receiving duos in the NFL, and this defense has more than enough playmakers, especially in the front 7, to lead Dallas to a Super Bowl. The Cowboys always find ways to underachieve despite so many Pro Bowl talent. But last time we checked, the NFC East is downright awful. And truth be told, it wouldn't be a surprise if the Cowboys eventually came away with 2 Super Bowls in the Zeke Prescott-Cooper era. The talent is there. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach, and he knows what it takes to reach the promised land. If McCarthy proves to be the right fit, the glory days may return for America's team. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. Alright, so Josh Allen is still mistake-prone and made plenty of mistakes in their 2019 wildcard loss to the Texans, but it's still not worth freaking out about. The guy only has 1 full season under his belt. Just connect all the dots, and you'll see why the Bills crack the top 5 of our list. They keep getting closer and closer to knocking off the Patriots, dropping 2 close games in the 2019 season. A few bounces their way, and the Bills would have won the AFC East. The Patriots have one of the oldest rosters in the league, and the dynasty looks to be like it's slowly ending. The Bills have superior young talent everywhere. Ed Oliver, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, and Jordan Phillips round out a top 5 NFL defense. Allen had some very good games with John Brown as his lone above-average pass catcher. Running back Devin Singletary will see a bigger workload from here on out, and he will make the most of it. Allen will learn to cut back on the mistakes as he progresses. If the Bills can also find him 1 or 2 more playmaking weapons, they will legitimately rise as a Super Bowl contender. We're definitely buying into all the hype. Number 4, the New Orleans Saints. You may jump on us quickly for placing the Saints in the top 5, especially with Drew Brees nearing the end of his career. But please hear us out. Brees aside, pretty much every core player on the Saints is well under the age of 30. Michael Thomas is arguably the NFL's top wideout right now, and he's just finished his age 26 season. Alvin Kamara just finished his 3rd season in the league and still has plenty left in the tank. That offensive line is among the NFL's best too. Just ask Teddy Bridgewater how fun it was to play behind them in 2019 while Brees was sidelined. And what about that defense? Veteran Cameron Jordan has plenty of Pro Bowl caliber years left in him. Marcus Davenport sure looks like the real deal too. And Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Williams are 2 of the game's premier young defensive backs. Bridgewater won all 5 games as a Saints starter in 2019. That's because Sean Payton is a genius. He can clearly make it work with any quarterback. And just look at how great Taysom Hill has been as a utility player in the offense. Losing Brees will hurt, no doubt. But this is Sean Payton and the Saints we're talking about here. With a star-studded roster and one of the league's top coaching staffs, New Orleans will continue to win no matter who's behind center. Their window is not closing. In fact, it may actually be opening wider. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens. We'd love to place the Ravens higher, but they still have a couple more question marks compared to the number 1 and number 2 teams on our list. Lamar Jackson dazzled with one of the greatest quarterback seasons of all time. Now, will he be able to adapt as defenses start to figure him out? Other run-heavy signal callers like Robert Griffin III and Colin Kaepernick regressed and couldn't adapt once teams took away their option. If Jackson can avoid a similar decline, then we'll look silly for not placing the Ravens in the top 2 here. John Harbaugh runs one of the best coaching staffs of the 21st century, and this front office is by far the best at drafting. Sorry, Bill Belichick, John Snyder, and Kevin Colbert. With a young franchise quarterback, a stout defense, and a nice set of weapons in Marquise Brown, Mark Ingram, and Mark Andrews, the Ravens have plenty of time to win a Super Bowl. We're just not sure if they have as much time as these next 2 clubs. Number 2, the San Francisco 49ers. Enough criticizing Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Focus on the positives. This team went from 4 wins to 13 wins plus a Super Bowl, all in 1 year. They'll learn from their losses. John Elway lost his first 3 Super Bowls. Andy Reid waited how long again to win a Lombardi trophy as a head coach? Richard Sherman won't be in his prime forever. Maybe Garoppolo isn't a Pro Bowl quarterback, but he excels in the game manager role. He was only a couple plays away from leading San Fran to a championship. George Kittle is the best tight end in football, and he'll dominate for years to come. Deebo Samuel should only get better, and the 49ers can put anybody they want in the back. That O-line can make anyone explosive. The front 7, don't even get us started. It's the best in football, and the likes of Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas will only get better as time passes. There isn't another team in the NFC who's better built to win today, tomorrow, and over the next 5+ years. Don't be surprised if they move ahead of the Patriots and Steelers in total Lombardi trophies. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Move aside Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is the new face of the NFL, or at least the co-face alongside Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs' world-class signal caller led his team to 2 AFC Championship games and a Super Bowl title in his first 2 seasons as a starter. Oh, and he also won an MVP award to go along with it. We could just end it here and say Mahomes is enough to put the Chiefs at number 1. But the thing is, Andy Reid isn't going anywhere. Nor is Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, or a rebuilt defense headed by the underappreciated Steve Spagnuolo, Tyrann Mathieu, Frank Clark, and Juan Thornhill. They have so many good years left of football in them. This unit will be a force for a long, long time. If there's another dynasty on the way, it's in Kansas City. Which NFL team do you think has the biggest Super Bowl window? Join us in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we do appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around TPS, which I do find it hard to believe, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. Make sure to follow myself and Total Pro Sports on social media. If you want to see pictures of my dog and my wife, please follow me. But as always, I am Joe Biondo. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.